I don't know about you, but the drone is probably the most important tool in your filmmaking arsenal after the camera. And learning to fly a drone is easy to start, but it's hard to master. But if you can master it, it can pay off extremely well. In this video, we wanted to give you some tips and tricks to take you from basic drone cinematographer to drone flying master in as little time as possible. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Mitchell, and you heard me right. Today, we're gonna be going over some tips and tricks to make you a better drone cinematographer. A question that we get asked all the time when people get their first drone, or for people who've been flying drones for a little while and wanna step up their game, is how do I get better at flying drones and what should I be practicing? We've been flying drones for the past 5 years, starting with the original Phantom 4 and using nearly every single drone that DJI has to offer. So in this video, we're gonna be taking our years of experience, boiling it down to a few tips and tricks that you can use to improve your drone flying skills. Let's get into it. First things first is we want to go through the settings that we use for our drone. These should be the same for pretty much every DJI drone, so it doesn't really matter what drone you have. The first thing we want to touch on is the stick layout of the controller. We like to keep this default because this allows us to basically pick up any drone and fly it as if it were our own. Video settings, this is also not complicated. We like to keep the standard picture adjustments. We like to throw on D-Log, and also we film in 24 or 30 FPS, just depending on what the project is. Our drone of choice right now is the Mavic 2 Pro. I do know that the Mavic Air 2S has been released, but these are essentially the exact same drones, and there's really no point in changing. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Maybe once we drill this thing into the ground and destroy it, then we'll upgrade. Lastly, for settings that we do like to change on our drone, we like to change our gimbal's speed and smoothness. We like to slow them way down. We like to have our speed around 13 and our smoothness around 17. Now this isn't set in stone, and we will change it depending on the kind of shot that we're going for, but in general, it is slowed way down. Next is what I like to call the fundamental rules, and these are basically the tips and tricks that we like to follow in order to get the best quality possible. And these are by no means the only rules you can follow. This is just what works for us. When we fly our drone, we like to make it look as little like a robot as we can. Because of this, we like to stay away from jerky camera movements and make our movements look as organic and smooth as possible. We like to stay away from the quick shot menu, and the only mode that we really use on a somewhat regular basis is the revolve shot because it can fly the drone in a perfect circle. But other than that, the active track and those other modes tend to not be very cinematic, so we like to stay away from them as much as we can. Next is that when you're recording a shot that you're really happy with, hold the shot for as long as you possibly can. You have no idea how many times we've recorded an insane shot, and when we get to editing, we realize it wasn't quite long enough because we moved the camera and cut the shot too short. Next up is probably the most important tip that we have for you when it comes to elevating your drone game. Generally, the more movement that you input into the sticks of the controller, the better the shot will be. Now what I mean by this is if you are getting a shot and you are increasing the altitude, but you're also panning to the side and you're tilting the camera down at the exact same time, doing all three of those things at the same time, that will provide a better shot than if you were just doing a simple raise. Now this may sound a little complicated, and it is, I'm not gonna lie to you, and all 4 of your fingers are gonna be doing something different, and they'll cramp and you're gonna be clawing at that controller, but if you can manage this, you'll be able to get some pretty mind-blowing footage. For example, with this shot, I'm doing a raise, but also strafing to the left and rotating the drone to the right and tilting the camera down, so it gives this diagonal movement, and it's a much more dynamic shot than if I was just doing something simple. And like we mentioned before, as hard as it may be, hold this for as long as possible so you have the most amount of footage to work with in post. Once you use these tips and tricks to master the art of drone flying, you're gonna have people lined up ready to hire you. And with all those new projects, you're gonna need a place to keep them all organized. For us, we like to use Monday.com. Monday.com is a work management platform that is designed to complement your workflow and helps you effortlessly collaborate with others. To give you a better understanding of how it works, we want to show you how we've set up Monday.com to organize our shoots. The main project board shows us at a glance what projects we have on the go at any given time. On the side here is a section outlining the team member responsible for each element of the project in order to keep them accountable. Having collaborators visible like this has been an absolute lifesaver because we work in a team and projects are often split up between quite a few people. One of our favorite features in Monday.com is the time tracking feature. This allows us to accurately track how long each element of a project takes for our records or if we need to bill a client. Because we make videos for both YouTube and freelance commercial projects, we need a platform that is extremely flexible. With a few clicks, it's super easy to change Monday.com's layout so it perfectly fits our workflow and seamlessly adapts to each type of project that comes our way. If you're interested in trying out Monday.com for yourself, there's going to be a link in the description where you can get yourself a 1-month free trial. We highly recommend it. Finally, we wanted to go through some of our go-to shots that we like to use every single time we get to a new location. These are great shots to practice your drone flying skills and give you a fallback so you always have some sort of shot in mind. Treat this as like a shot Rolodex, if you will. The first shot we want to touch on is the bird's eye view shot. This is a great shot to show a sense of scale between your subject and your surroundings. And this is also a perfect shot to practice your fine controlled movements. And also when you get it perfectly centered with your subject in the middle, it can be very pleasing to the eye and a very unique angle. Next up is the reveal shot, and this is a perfect establishing shot, and also it's perfect for showing off your location. When you reveal from a foreground element, it adds a lot of depth to the shot as well, which is cool. Now, the only tricky part with this shot is just finding something to reveal from behind. The next shot is the low tilt up reveal shot, and this is a much more advanced shot, but it looks really, really good when you nail it. Now, a tip for this is to get the drone as low as possible to the ground because then you get a lot of motion blur and it looks like the drone is going extremely fast. The next shot is the low full speed revolve, and this is a really good shot to show the parallax effect. Now, a tip for this, the faster you're going with the drone, the better it looks. But be careful that you don't hit anything. We've had a few experiences with that.
No! Ah, are you kidding me?
The next up is the revolve shot. This is a classic and also can be done automatically. The drone has a setting for this and will do it all by itself. This is perfect to show off a certain subject or a certain building or structure, and you just can't go wrong with the revolve shot. This last shot that we want to share with you is very advanced, but it's called interacting with your environment. So if you say, see a hole in a cliff or a rock structure, you fly the drone through that hole. Now, this isn't a shot that most people are willing to get because your drone is at risk, and it does require you to turn off all of the obstacle avoidance sensors on the drone. But if you are willing to do it and put your drone at risk, you can get some pretty incredible shots. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed all these drone tips and tricks, and I hope you guys head out there and use these tips and tricks to become better drone cinematographers. If you're new here, make sure you go and like, comment, and subscribe because it really helps us out. Also, go and follow us on Instagram. Also, comment down there what your favorite drone shot was in this whole video, because there are quite a few that we have gotten over the years. And I think with that being said, we'll see you guys in another video.
That's very unfortunate.